Nicholas II, Russian in full Nikolai Alexandrovich, born May 6, May 18, New Style, 1868, Tsarskoye Selo, Russia. Died July 17, 1918. Ekaterinburg. The last Russian emperor, 1894 to 1917. Known in the Russian Orthodox Church as Saint Nicholas the Passion Bearer, was the last emperor of Russia, King of Congress Poland and Grand Duke of Finland, ruling from the 1st of November 1894 until his abdication on the 15th of March 1917. Nikolai Alexandrovich was the eldest son and heir apparent. Cesarevich, of the Tsarevich Alexander Alexandrovich, emperor as Alexander III from 1881, and his consort Maria Fyodorovna, Dagmar of Denmark. Succeeding his father on November 1, 1894, he was crowned Tsar in Moscow on May 26, 1896. Contemporaries unanimously note Nicholas's great personal charm, his quiet restraint, combined with an ability to converse easily with others, and his excellent memory which allowed him to recall an enormous number of people whom he had met over the years. Endowed with remarkable personal qualities, he was the incarnation of all that was noblest and most chivalrous in the Russian nature. He spoke and wrote fluent English, and communicated in this language with his wife, who as child spent her summers at the court of her grandmother, Queen Victoria, and also knew French and German. The emperor was fond of history and was an avid reader of both entertaining and scholarly books. In addition, Nicholas was fascinated by photography, as were his children, and he enjoyed both walking and hunting, as did many other Romanovs. When automobiles appeared in Russia, they captivated him, and the Russian court possessed one of the largest car collections in early 20th century Europe. Nicholas had several admirable qualities. He was a nationalist who professed a love for Russia and its people. He had a strong sense of duty and a stilted affection for the peasantry. Was always anxious to be just and to do the right thing. Kind to those around him and deeply religious, he genuinely wanted to bring happiness and prosperity to his people. He has a quick mind and learns easily. There is no doubt that Nicholas was a kind, well-meaning person, with a deep affection for his family. He was devoted to his wife, Alexandra, his son, Alexis, and his 4 daughters. Family photographs were in every room of the palace. Nicholas was not a stupid man. The problems Russia faced were very great. He loved his country and served it loyally and to the best of his ability. He was very kind, sensitive, generous. The situation would probably have destroyed any man who sat on the throne. With his omnipresent energy and intuition, Tsar Nicholas II of Russia has the potential to be a source of inspiration and illumination for people. With no conscious effort, he galvanizes every situation he enters, and energy seems to flow through him. Fine companion and possesses a good sense of humor. He did not deserve the extensive criticism that he faced during his reign and was not a particularly terrible leader. Nicholas was an extremely smart man and very well educated. He was at the top of his class and was the most intelligent of the European monarchs of his time. Nicholas always put his country before anything else in life. He thought the fate of his family and his country were inseparable. He knew the shortcomings of his family dynasty all too well. Only he could keep it from falling apart. Being a very smart man, he realized he was a target for assassination. His wife's love and devotion were cherished throughout his life. High Priest Artemy Vladimirov said about Nicholas II, "The Tsar is an example of fulfilling the duty of loyalty. A man who knew how to answer for his word. A man always fulfilling his promises. A guarantor of peace in Europe, thanks to whose podvig Russia, as never before, was near to victory in that patriotic war which, wholly undeservedly, is termed imperialistic in post-Soviet textbooks. Today, when male loyalty and valor are scanty to the extreme. When family heads do not hesitate to abandon those whom they have domesticated. When men have forgotten wherein lies their strength and spiritual beauty, and have become turncoats, serving their own passions. Today the Tsar convict's gaze, calm, cool-headed, somewhat sorrowful, and full of adamantine faith in God's providence, sobers us. From him, the Russian Tsar, we must learn faith and faithfulness, honor and oath, given once and forever to God and country. We need such men today, upon whose firm shoulders their life companions can lean. We need such fathers, whose authority would be unwavering for their children. Our Tsar wonderfully combined within himself bravery and meekness. No one ever saw him in anger. He wonderfully controlled himself. But his royal gaze, the wagging of his finger, one of his instructing words silenced the most impudent, bold, ungirded people, because before the Tsar's words went his actions, because the grace of the anointing, communicated to him in the sacrament of marriage to his kingdom, was multiplied incessantly by his labors day and night for the welfare of the nation. By all accounts of those who knew Nicholas, he was a kind man. Even his posture and stance exuded a gentility and grace. Did you know that Kerensky, who headed the Provisional Government, even acknowledged the kindness of the emperor? Kerensky had never met him until after the supposed abdication. Kerensky had bought into the accusatory rumors regarding the emperor's character. After their first meeting, Kerensky even acknowledged that he may have been wrong and thought Nicholas to be a good man. The same can be said of the guards in captivity. They developed a sincere fondness for the entire family, which is why they were consistently removed and replaced. He was the most athletic of all Russian czars. He used to do morning exercises from an early age, taking daily walks. He loved kayaking and could hike tens of kilometers at a time. He loved to watch and participate in horse races. He was an excellent swimmer and a dedicated lover of billiards. He also enjoyed tennis. During winter, he was a passionate skater and ice hockey player. He was a voracious reader. He maintained magnificent libraries in the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg and the Alexander Palace in Tsarskoye Selo. He read equally well in Russian, English and French, and he could manage in German and Danish. Each month, new books were supplied by his private librarian, who provided the Tsar with 20 of the best books from all countries. The future emperor grew up in the Spartan atmosphere of his father Alexander III's palace at Gatchina. As a boy, he had to sleep in a hard iron bed, and eat basic food. Throughout his reign, Nicholas II continued to wear the same suits and military uniforms after they had been patched and mended numerous times. During his stay with his family in Tobolsk, they never idled. They cut wood, cleared the snow and worked in the garden. Seeing all that, one of the peasant guards allegedly said, "Had we given him a plot of land, he'd have earned the whole of his Russia back by working." When the members of the Provisional Government were considering the possibility of accusing the emperor of treason, one of them suggested making his private correspondence with the Empress public. To which he was told, "We can't do that. If we do, the Russian nation will worship them as saints." In the end, we can only say that he was a special person in many respects. He did what he saw was right for his land and people. He was misunderstood by many people who did not know him for what he was and insisted on believing the false rumors circulating about him.